Today on the Morning Edition, the Mukluk fire left over 40 homes in ashes in its wake in Tongass. And now, as good news finally starts to come, people are shifting into recovery mode. We'll bring you the latest on the situation. Plus, the fight is brewing for the Tongass National Forest as the push to repeal roadless limits hits pushback from tribes and conservationists. We'll let you know how you can still get involved. And later, there are difficult tasks, and then there's this, moving a 400-ton castle by hand. We'll find out the reason for the move as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today, and thanks for waking up with me, Melissa.
Yes.
How are you this morning?
Glad to be here. Wednesday, bright and early. Nice to be up when the sun's up here in just a little bit.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're getting some sunshine.
Yeah, should be a really nice day. One thing I'm watching this morning, we do have a little fog that is developing here in portions of Anchorage as you head out into the valley, into Juneau as well. So you can see, looking at those current conditions here, as you look at that view from Eagle River down toward the Glen Highway, a little patchy fog, nothing too intense for that drive-in this morning in town. But different stories. You head out to Palmer, you can see pretty socked in there. Also into Juneau, really poor visibility. Temperatures a little chilly too, sitting just in those mid-40s. So looking at that visibility here around South Central, you can see again, not bad in Anchorage and Palmer at about 10 miles, but Wasilla it is down to 0. So if you're getting ready to head out the door within the next couple of hours and you're in the valley, I would allow just some extra time so you can keep those speeds nice and slow. We're also seeing similar conditions right along Cook Inlet as you head here down Sterling Highway. Cordova socked in a little bit this morning, and then into southeast. You can see Petersburg visibility down to 3 miles. Juneau, it's lifted a little bit at the airport, but further south, we're still seeing that fog. There is actually a dense fog advisory in effect for Wrangell and Petersburg this morning. That's where that visibility is the lowest, down to about 1/4 mile. So please be safe on those roads as you head out the door. That'll gradually lift. We'll see one quick band of showers moving through southeast. A few lingering showers for those of you as you head into the interior, but otherwise pretty calm, quiet conditions here for your Wednesday. Already looking ahead, though, to the next storm. Wind advisory issued for the Kuskokwim Delta down into Bristol Bay. This is for Thursday and Friday. So an early heads up that we'll see those strong winds pushing in off from the coast with gusts to about 50 miles per hour for you there. Otherwise, as we look ahead to the day in Anchorage, enjoy that sunshine. Find some time to get outside today. Temperatures will climb right back into those low 60s, and that sunshine even sticks with us into Thursday as well. Kristen?
This morning, a kid in Mukluk is facing attempted murder charges after shooting at police officers and state troopers. It happened around 10 p.m. Monday night. The Mukluk Police Department says they were responding to a disturbance call. As they were talking with people who lived in the building, they say a kid came out of a bedroom with a rifle and shot at one of the officers. Police say the kid continued firing at law enforcement from inside the home as state troopers arrived. After multiple efforts for a peaceful surrender failed, state troopers used chemicals similar to pepper spray to force the juvenile out of the building. Once outside, law enforcement say they were able to arrest and book the juvenile into Craig Jail. No officers or troopers were injured. Well, some good news out of Tongass. Fire crews are scaling back the evacuation warning for the Mukluk wildfire. The level 3 go order now only covers the fire's footprint. Crews are still working the southern edge, cooling hot spots and clearing dangerous trees. Adrian Peterson shows us what's left behind after dozens of homes have been destroyed.
It's been 9 days since the Mukluk fire began here in Tongass, taking with it 44 homes, leaving residents without a place to stay. As containment efforts continue, recovery becomes the focus for many, and for others, making sure the fire does not continue to damage the city. Those homes that have burned in the fire were lost on the first day of suppression efforts. But response was immediate as fire crews from around the state and Canada came to Tongass. Since then, the community has focused on supporting those that lost their homes, gathering supplies. Now, as winter weather nears, an effort to build shelters to survive some of the harshest conditions is underway.
350 personnel, that's going to be about our ceiling here. We've reached our maximum staffing. We are already beginning to release heavy equipment resources that are no longer needed. And also there are a few crews, highly skilled crews, type 1 hotshot crews. We're going to keep running saws out there, keep securing.
As crews continue to disperse throughout the coming days, there is still weeks until containment will be fully achieved. But winter becomes a new concern, and residents are working together to build shelter until they can rebuild their homes. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
And if you want to help, we are partnering with the American Red Cross for relief donations. The Red Cross is in Tok right now, providing supplies at a local disaster center. Those who would like to donate can scan the QR code on your screen now or visit our website. Day by day, we're learning more about the 8 people killed on a charter plane crash near a remote western Alaska radar site. Newly released photos include Sabrina Hansen with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Alaska District, 25-year-old Hayden Scalise, also with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Alaska District, and Second Lieutenant Leah Borsick, a 23-year-old project programmer with the 611th Civil Engineer Squadron on J. Bear. Casey Cash, a friend of Sabrina Hansen from her hockey community, gave a statement to Alaska's news source saying, quote, "She always had a smile on her face and a giggle I will never forget. She brought positivity wherever she went and will be deeply missed by everyone who had the privilege of knowing her." Now we're continuing to reach out to family and friends as they're ready to share, and we'll update you as we learn more about those on board. The National Transportation Safety Board released its report Tuesday on the plane crash that claimed 3 lives near McCarthy in July. Charlie Fellows has that update.
For Randy Elliott, it was a dream come true.
If you're in the bush of Alaska, it's difficult to explain, but your children don't stay here. So when one of them decides to come back and do the same business, it's very gratifying. Makes you feel like your life is maybe worthwhile.
Cut far too short.
And we don't really know why he did what he did. I think it makes it a little bit harder to accept, but there's no not accepting it. We just are never going to know.
Elliott's son, Anadir, plus his fiancée, Jing Munkitsakul, and pilot Jason Lobo, passed away in a plane crash on July 27th at a remote airstrip near McCarthy. The NTSB released a report Tuesday outlining a bit more detail on the circumstances of the crash, saying witnesses heard the plane's engine increase to a high power setting before abruptly cutting out moments before the impact. The plane crashed into a berm about 800 feet away from the Dan Creek airstrip where it was attempting to land.
Well, they were out there. We had to sit there and watch because bears come to death. They can smell it.
One thing the report did not outline was a definite cause for the crash, saying there were, quote, no pre-impact anomalies with the flight control system. For Elliott, that closure might never come.
The man that was flying, I've known him, 35 years. He's an excellent pilot. We don't really know why he did what he did, but the engine quit and they hit the ground, of course. There's no explaining that.
Charlie Fellows, Alaska's news source.
The NTSB says the plane's engine has been moved to a secure facility for further examination. In Anchorage, a new nonprofit is taking flight. Paniak launched at the Merrill Field hangar, the same place where Ellen Paniak learned to fly. She became the first licensed Alaska Native female pilot back in 1979 when she was only 20. She logged more than 15,000 flight hours in her 17-year career that ended with her death in 2008. Now her name is attached to a program training rural Alaska students for careers in aviation as pilots, mechanics, dispatchers, and more.
She broke that glass ceiling to be the first Alaska Native female pilot. She was also a mentor to many youth and volunteered for many organizations. So she really is a symbol for our rural Alaskan youth that they can do it, and her spirit is definitely here and reminds me of them.
I believe that it gives other Native young ladies and girls the inspiration and the determination to know that they can do it, that they can do anything, not just flying, but anything else that they can accomplish.
Organizers say the goal now is growth with support from several Alaska air carriers already on board. State officials say they have been unable to find the source of an oil spill that was spotted in Cook Inlet Monday. This is video that was taken by a pilot who flew over the area Monday. The Alaska Department of Conservation says no oil was observed Tuesday in a flyover, although response crews are still in place. The oily sheen was located near an inactive oil platform called Spark that's now owned by Hilcorp. One environmental group says the abandoned platforms pose a constant hazard and should be taken down.
It's unclear whether that's the cause of this spill, but this is one indication that we need to make sure that Hilcorp and the oil producers are cleaning up these old dangerous platforms. It's just too vulnerable and sensitive in Cook Inlet to let them have these risky platforms still existing in the inlet in open waters.
Hilcorp is involved in the spill response. In a release, the company says the platform in question was plugged and abandoned by the previous operator in 2009. A new fight is brewing over the Tongass National Forest. The USDA wants to exempt the 9 million acre rainforest from longstanding roadless rules. Tribes and conservationists are pushing back. The August 18th proposal would open up 9.3 million acres to roads and logging. The USDA points to wildfire prevention. The timber industry agrees. Viking Lumber's Sarah Dahlstrom says in a statement, the repeal restores access without hurting conservation. But critics say the wildfire argument doesn't hold up in a rainforest.
Tongass is a rainforest, right? The threat of wildfire in the Tongass is not an issue that I'm aware of or that I think anyone in Southeast Alaska should be concerned about.
The Forest Service says nothing changes until rulemaking is final. Public comment runs through September 21st. A surrogate mother from Alaska who fled the state to have the baby in Texas appeared in a Dallas courtroom Tuesday, 2 weeks after giving birth. This all started when McKenna West refused to get an abortion as requested by the biological parents of the child after the baby was diagnosed in utero with a rare, severe heart condition. The judge extended a restraining order that keeps the baby away from West for another 2 weeks while deciding legally who has custody of the child. West is now claiming parental rights to the child. The biological parents of the baby were emotional in the courtroom, describing the critical health condition of the baby they have named Rumi, who is undergoing treatment at the Children's Medical Center. Still ahead today on the Morning Edition, she was more than just a celebrity, she was a legend. Dolly Parton touched the lives of millions across the country. We'll look back at the legacy she leaves behind. Welcome back in. 15 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday morning. We see that gorgeous sunrise, Melissa. Excited for some sunshine today.
Yeah, here it is. You can see from that view in Midtown looking over the Tongass, crystal clear skies there. Head out closer to the inlet. We do have a little patchy fog. So if you are doing some commuting this morning, perhaps heading in from Wasilla, Palmer, be prepared for that chance for some fog drifting across the highway, impacting that visibility. You can see it floating there, that view from Eagle River out closer to the inlet. So not too bad in Anchorage, but definitely seeing it as you head north and to the south. Looking at those current conditions in Palmer this morning over the bridge, yeah, not great visibility. So do allow some extra time so you can get to wherever you're headed safely this morning. That is also certainly the case in Southeast. This is what it looks like in Juneau right now. You can see pretty socked in there as well. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect for the Petersburg and Wrangell areas. This is where visibility is down to about a quarter of a mile. So that'll last through about 10 o'clock this morning, and they'll start to lift and break up. Otherwise, as we look ahead to what is on tap here for this week, other than that foggy start here in Anchorage, the Valley, and Southeast, we do have much drier and calmer weather on the way for most of the state today, continuing into at least the first half of your Thursday before that next storm system comes rolling in here Thursday into Friday, really actually quite similar to what we just saw. So right now, looking at that satellite picture, the front that brought all that wind and rain yesterday, now pushing all the way into Canada. You can see those clearing conditions across most of the state. But early heads up, we already have a wind advisory in effect for this next storm Thursday into Friday. If you're in the Kuskokwim Delta into Bristol Bay, you need to start preparing for high winds. This storm will bring in winds of about 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusting to near 50 miles per hour. And not only will we see the wind, we'll see some heavy rain with this storm. and then also likely seeing some rough sea conditions because of that wind over the Bering Sea. So be prepared for that later in the week, especially if you're planning to do any traveling. I can see right now relatively calm conditions, a little wind lingering up north. We're just starting to see the outer edges of the storm all the way out in Shemya. You can actually see the center of that low pressure just beginning to form. So we do have some time before this gets here. It's going to gradually make its way across the Bering Sea today, and then we'll start to see those impacts heading into tomorrow. Otherwise, looking ahead for your Wednesday out west, we'll see high temperatures in the upper 40s in Nome. We'll see partly sunny conditions there. Bethel 56, still holding on to those 60s in Dillingham. Into the interior, a few light rain showers really lingering from yesterday's storm, and a little cooler because of it. High temperatures only reaching the upper 50s for you. There is some purple on the map. Anytime you see purple, that's an indication of snowfall. We will hold on to those chances for snow in the higher elevations of the Brooks Range today, but even on the slope, high temperatures only reaching those low 40s. Anchorage, mostly sunny, dry. We'll see similar conditions here across South Central with highs in the low 60s. Juneau, again, a few showers pushing through, otherwise highs back into the low 60s for you as well. Otherwise, looking ahead here to the rest of this week, we will hold on to this sunshine as we head into Thursday. A few showers pushing through again on Friday, but that's going to clear just in time for the weekend. Mostly sunny for an August weekend. Pretty great. High temperatures back into those low 60s. Kristen?
Over 60 years on stage, 3,000 songs and millions of lives impacted are all part of the legacy left behind by country music legend Dolly Parton. She died at the age of 80 Tuesday morning. Millions honored Dolly on the day of her passing, and Alaska is no different. After talking to Alaskans about how they're processing the loss, Joe Allgood shares this story.
Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping out on the street.
From Nashville to Los Angeles, Americans began their 9 to 5 Tuesday morning saddened by the latest news from the Music City.
It's heartbreaking and it's sad, and I think individually I'm heartbroken, but I think collectively everyone feels the same way.
In Alaska, it seems even the weather took note as flags flap at half-staff to honor the late queen of country music.
Completely devastated. I mean, who's not affected by Dolly Parton? She was not just a great musician, but even a greater human being.
Dolly's reach extended far beyond her Tennessee mountain home.
Hello, Alaska!
And while the genius behind Jolene may not have visited the last frontier, her affection certainly did.
And boy, do you have a state full of wonderful people.
Amy Collins is one of those wonderful people.
We serve 16,000 children statewide. We're in 140 communities, and it is one of the largest social service providers of early childhood services in Alaska.
With the help of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, Best Beginnings has provided over 3.2 million books to Alaskan children.
It's one of the first things that we hear from parents is, "My child loves Dolly." And it's bittersweet because when I think about all those children today who are probably heartbroken hearing that Dolly has passed.
Bittersweet memories.
She's an American icon.
She was joy.
I loved her music.
And happiness.
She fundamentally believed in the right to read.
But above all this, she was love.
I love Dolly Parton.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Just this month, Dolly put out a video that said, "My little butterfly wings are getting tired. And while it's tragic that she's gone, we can only hope her wings are tired no more." Rest in peace, Dolly.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.